We're now joined by Don Ma for today's Business Matters. Don, thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here. Let me start off with a report on the labor market here. So jobless claims have fallen to the lowest level since April, and this is according to Labor Department data released today. The number of people applying for first-time unemployment benefits dropped to 213,000 claims. Now, economists had predicted 220,000 filings. Now, despite the decline in initial claims, people continuing to receive unemployment benefits hit a 3-year high. That number climbed by 36,000 and now stands at 1.9 million. Economists attribute the slowdown in job growth to employers reining in hiring versus conducting mass layoffs. Tech giants process more than 13 billion financial transactions annually using digital wallets and payment apps. Today, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau finalized a regulation to ensure they comply with federal law. The new rule will bring a growing consumer service under the same scrutiny as banks. The agency said government oversight will protect consumer data privacy and prevent fraud. The regulations govern digital services such as Apple Wallet, Google Pay, and Venmo. For now, the regulation will only apply to transactions in US dollars. No more line jumping on American Airlines. The company has launched technology that enforces boarding in group order. A beep alerts the gate agent when a passenger is checking in ahead of their group. The airline tested the technology last month at 3 airports and received positive feedback. Now, with the busy Thanksgiving travel season coming up, the airline is expanding the software to more than 100 U.S. airports. Caffeine withdrawals for McDonald's customers. Some locations have stopped serving espresso drinks over a safety issue with its espresso maker. Manufacturer Melita alerted McDonald's about it. The exact safety issue is unclear. McDonald's said it did not have a scope of the impact from the broken machines, but CNN reported that the issue is widespread. From Atlanta to New York and Dallas, affected McDonald's locations can still serve hot and iced coffee drinks. More than 160,000 pounds of ground beef have been recalled over possible E. coli contamination. The meat was shipped nationwide to restaurants by Wolverine Packing Company. A sample test came back positive for E. coli. Officials say so far 15 people have reported getting sick in Minnesota since the beginning of the month. The contaminated meat could be fresh or frozen. Walmart and Target are reporting different types of earnings. Target customers' hyper-focus on sales have caused a problem for the retailer. Walmart is claiming success through wealthier customers. NTD Sean Marshall has more details.
Target is expecting a surprisingly weak holiday shopping season, a potential warning sign for the retail industry. The company forecast Wednesday that sales during the final quarter of the year will be flat, and Target lowered the profit forecast. Target also reported a sluggish sales increase of just 0.3% during its latest quarter. On the other side, shares of Walmart rose as much as 5% to an all-time high Tuesday morning after it raised its annual profit and sales forecast for the third consecutive time. In their September quarter results, they each mentioned different objectives that resulted in different results. While Walmart says they profited from the wealthy, Target says people are hunting for sales and promotional events, and most active during those times. Rick Gomez, Target's executive vice president and chief commercial officer, said that their consumers know there are deals to be found, they're willing to wait for sales, and willing to search across multiple retailers. And Walmart's chief executive officer, Doug McMillon, says households earning more than $100,000 made up 75% of their share gains. But some things are working for both of the rivals. In fact, spruced-up loyalty programs with perks such as same-day or free delivery, personalized marketing, and quicker checkouts at stores allowed Target and Walmart to bring about an early splurge during back-to-school shopping. And the retailers plan to continue to make these programs more appealing as holidays approach. Sean Marshall, NTD News.
Comcast has confirmed it's reorganizing, but hasn't yet laid out how it will untangle some of its components. Comcast will create a new publicly traded company for most of its NBC Universal cable networks. The temporarily named SpinCo will be the home of USA, Oxygen, E, CNBC, MSNBC, and others. Peacock, NBC News, the NBC Broadcast Network, and the Bravo channel will remain under the parent company. MSNBC and NBC News share offices and journalist content. It's unclear the arrangements, what they will be moving forward, though. And ahead of filing for bankruptcy, Spirit Airlines reportedly paid its CEO nearly $4 million retention bonus. The budget carrier announced last month that it would be cutting jobs and selling jets to try to dig out of debt. Spirit stock has descended more than 90% this year. WLRN South Florida reported that the company told Ted Christie he would keep his bonus if he stayed with the company another year. ExxonMobil says it will expand plastic recycling. The natural gas company's decision comes as it faced lawsuit in California over its alleged role in global plastic waste pollution. Exxon's Baytown, Texas facility will process 80 million pounds of plastic waste this year. The expansion will allow the plant and a nearby site in Vermont to process up to 500 million pounds by 2026. The products will be sold as certified recycled plastics. Exxon chemical rival LyondellBasell is also installing a system in a German factory using a similar recycling technology. Lyondell plans to install a large unit in Houston later this decade. The company will permanently shut down a Houston refinery next year. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is preparing to take on Fruit Loops once he becomes the nation's highest health official. He's expressed concern in particular over artificial coloring in foods. Here's the story.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says he'll remove artificial colors from America's foods once he becomes the country's top health official.
Yellow dye, tartrazine, causes tumors, asthma, developmental delays, neurological damage, ADD, ADHD, hormone disruption, gene damage, anxiety, depression, intestinal injuries.
Kennedy says he believes these dyes are one reason Americans are less healthy than people from other nations, according to many major metrics. He puts a spotlight on Yellow 5, one of the most widely used food dyes.
This dye was originally made out of the sludge that's left over when you turn coal into coke for blast furnaces. It's called coal tar, and I've actually sued many big industries for legacy contamination of coal tar all around the country because it's so toxic.
Artificial dyes were first developed in the mid-1800s as a byproduct of coal tar. Now, tens of thousands of foods contain these potentially unhealthy dyes, according to the USDA branded foods database. The vast majority of them come from either petroleum or coal tar. Foods containing them include M&Ms, Kool-Aid,
squirt some in the water and boom, Kool-Aid,
and Fruit Loops.
Follow your nose to Fruit Loops World!
The dyes make foods more colorful and attractive, especially to children. Kennedy told Fox News the government isn't banning them because of corruption.
75% of FDA's budget comes from regulated industry, and that means food processors and pharmaceutical industry, all of them profit from a sick population.
Big food companies did remove artificial dyes from their foods around a decade ago, but they put the dyes back in because they say consumers prefer them. Fruit Loops maker Kellogg says its dyes have been rated safe by scientists worldwide.
PayPal says it has resolved an issue that led to a global outage today. It impacted thousands of users for nearly 2 hours. A system issue affected multiple products, including account withdrawals, peer-to-peer payment service, Venmo, and online checkout. Crypto exchanges Coinbase and Kraken reported problems with PayPal as well. The outage happened as the world's largest cryptocurrency surged to more than $98,000. Bitcoin pulled other crypto stocks along with it. Down Detector said that there were nearly 9,000 reports of problems with PayPal transactions. PayPal allows its clients to buy, sell, and hold cryptocurrency. The company's website said all of its production systems were operational as of this morning. China's Commerce Ministry today announced new measures to boost the country's trade. President-elect Trump's proposal to impose tariffs of up to 60% on all Chinese goods has rattled Chinese manufacturers. Exporters in the world's second biggest economy are bracing for possible trade disruptions. Now, among the new measures, China will expand exports of agricultural products and support imports of core equipment and energy products. This is according to a statement published online by the ministry. A poll of economists showed on Thursday that the U.S. could impose tariffs of nearly 40% on imports from China early next year, potentially slicing China's growth by up to 1 percentage point. Now, let's talk about the Adani indictment. India's opposition Congress party leader Rahul Gandhi called today for the arrest of billionaire businessmen. Gandhi said at a press briefing in New Delhi that it was now clear that Adani had broken both American law and Indian law. He also accused Prime Minister Narendra Modi of protecting Adani and of being involved in corruption with him. In a statement, the Adani Group said the allegations are baseless and that all possible legal recourse will be sought. The Adani Group also decided not to proceed with a bond offering in U.S. dollars. And now staying with the Adani Group, has lost upwards of $27 billion in market value after the U.S. charged the group's chairman with bribery and fraud. Let's take a closer look.
Indian conglomerate Adani Group lost around $27 billion in market value on Thursday after US prosecutors charged its billionaire chairman over an alleged bribery and fraud scheme. Gautam Adani's flagship company, Adani Enterprises, closed down 23% in its worst one-day drop since February 2023 and its lowest since November last year. Other group firms also fell between 7 and 19%. The US indictment accuses Adani, one of the world's richest people, his nephew, Sagar, as well as 6 others of paying $265 million in bribes to Indian government officials to obtain solar energy supply contracts. Arrest warrants have been issued in the US for Adani and Sagar. In a statement, Adani Group dismissed the accusations as baseless and denied and vowed to seek all possible legal recourse. Prosecutors also alleged the Adanis and former Adani Green CEO Vineet Jain concealed corruption from lenders and investors to secure $3 billion in loans and bonds. Adani Green Energy cancelled plans to raise $600 million in US dollar-denominated bonds after the news. Some Adani dollar bonds also slumped, with prices down 3 cents to 5 cents.
The world's leading producer of advanced chips will be pivoting to artificial intelligence. Taiwan's technology minister told Nikkei Asia that the government plans to spend $3 billion over the next 3 years on AI data centers and computing ability. Wu Chengwen said that AI sovereignty was critical and a benefit to its security. Taiwan is trying to diversify its economy and steer away from reliance on exports to China. Milwaukee Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo is looking for some assists off the court. He announced the launch of Build Your Legacy Ventures. This is a venture capital fund that will focus on investments in sports, entertainment, and technology. He's hoping to help connect entrepreneurs with investors who will be able to grow their businesses. Antetokounmpo said this is about more than just capital, it's also about forging partnerships. All right, on to markets. Wall Street's main indexes closed higher today after a choppy trading day. Shares of Wall Street's biggest company, Nvidia, were up after teetering following its earnings release on Wednesday. The chip company surpassed expectations for quarterly results and projected fourth quarter revenue above estimates. Amazon fell after a report said it will likely face an EU investigation next year into whether it favors its own brand products on its online marketplace. And traders also monitored geopolitical tensions between Ukraine and Russia that sent crude prices higher and aided a gain in the energy sector. All right, with that, everything in today's Business Matters. Back to you guys.
Well, I have to say that story about RFK and the Fruit Loops really caught my attention.
Oh, yeah? I mean, yeah, it caught my attention in the way that I'll probably never look at Fruit Loops the same way again after that report saying they're using tar or whatever, coal in the food coloring. I don't know about that.
I guess I can say I'm glad that I was never much of a fan of Fruit Loops, more of a Cinnamon Toast Crunch kind of gal. Although hopefully nothing bad comes out about them, although I do know they have a lot of sugar.
You know, I don't even think the colors even matter between the different loops, because from what I heard, they all taste the same regardless of the color. So, I mean, why even have that?
Regardless of which Fruit Loop, they all kind of taste the same, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess that story really threw us for a loop there, right?
Bravo.
Thank you. All right, well, thank you, Don. Great segment as always.
All right, thanks.
We'll see you back here tomorrow.